is Waltz To Lutz, a skating podcast. Whether the ice is your element or your best times are rolling on concrete, this is your space to find the stories of your fellow skaters and share yours too. Discover what made them start, what kept them going, and how skating shaped their life journey. And if you want your story to be featured, please get in touch at waltztolutz@gmail.com. We're always on the look for new inspiring journeys. Happy listening! Hey skaters, welcome to Waltz To Lutz. I'm your host Julia, and today I'm really excited because I'm recording episode number 1. And I think I might have won the lottery with my first guest. She's a professional figure skater, a certified yoga and Pilates instructor, and just an all-round superstar. Ladies and gents, I'm really happy to have Amber Wimbledon on the call today. Hey Amber! Thank you for joining me today. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you for having me on. It's really exciting to get to speak to you, not just over the classes, but actually get to speak to you properly.
Yeah, finally having a voice, not only a tiny picture with my name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really happy to have you here and chat about your skating journey and your career. I know that we have like connections in common, but I actually came to know you via your yoga classes. We're gonna talk about those too. But yeah, I just wanted to know, well, first of all, would you like to introduce yourself properly? Because I might have missed out some important information.
Yeah, sure. So Amber Wimbledon. I'm a 25-year-old professional skater, and I live just outside of London in England. I've been doing shows professionally now for just over 5 years. And then obviously due to the pandemic and things, that's all been put on hold, which is when I started my new venture into starting Life with Ams via Instagram, which is a yoga and Pilates business running live classes via Zoom and also on-demand classes as well. So yeah, that's just a little brief bit about what I've been doing and what I've been up to for the last few years.
Yeah, and obviously skating is a big part of your life right now, but how did that start? When did you start?
So I actually started when I was 8 years old, which for a lot of people that I've met along the way, they seem to think that's quite late. So 8 years old, I went to one of my friend's birthday parties from school. Was the first time I ever skated, and I just fell in love with it. And I came home to my mum like, Mum, I want to start learning, because there was somebody on the ice doing all those spins, which I just was like, wow, I want to do that. She was wearing the little dress, and that was just what I wanted to do. And then it's literally stuck from there. In the whole, I think I've been skating like 17 years now. And in all that time, I've only had about a 6-7 month break. But yeah, just something that I fell in love with and have done ever since. And it's just been onwards and upwards since there.
Yeah. So did you start like as a figure skater, like a solo skater? Or did you try pairs as well? Because I know that now you do adagio for your contracts.
Yeah, so I actually started just normal lessons. Like I joined the courses at my local ice rink. It was a very small ice rink as well, just like once a week. And then as I started to move up the grades, went a few more times to practice, and then it just kept going up from there as a single skater. Then I started to compete, and then I found myself getting way too nervous in competitions. I just wasn't enjoying it. Like you was constantly working for tests, for competitions, and you put in all these hours of work. And then a couple of times I went to compete and fell to bits on the ice, and I felt, right, okay, this isn't for me now. I need to take another path. And one of my friends from the rink had actually been skating with Disney on ice. And I was like, wow, I saw her post. She was traveling the world. I was like, right, that's my next goal. So I told my coach, like, right, I want to have a year and I want to get into a show. So from there, I started working super hard on not such like level skating, like, you know, when you go to competitions, you have the typical elements that you have to work for, but more like show things. So I worked more on my flexibility, more on my spins, my presentation, personality on the ice. And then a year from there, I saw like a lot of the casting posts were done via Facebook, and I saw a post going for a circus show, a Russian ice circus in Peru. And I was like, right, okay, I'm ready. I was getting really bored of just being stuck in the UK. I had just turned 20, or no, I was 19, and I saw this post, and it was they needed a girl to go in the next 2 weeks, and the contract was for 1 year. Wow. And I was like, oh, it's quite a long time, but I thought, you know what, let's just take it, see how it goes. So I signed the contract. I literally had my 20th birthday and flew the next day to Peru, which was the first time I'd ever like left home for a long time by myself. And And yeah, and then I went to Peru and met the most amazing skaters from around the world. It was a very small circus show, and it was real ice, but we used to travel around Peru like every few weeks, would change cities. But the contract actually started to fall to bits after 4 months. Like the company started to lose money, so we ended up leaving after 4 months, which was quite nice because I was starting to actually miss home a little bit after that time. But then from there, I got a lot of other contacts of the skaters in the show, because I only thought that there was Holiday and Disney on Ice and Dancing on Ice. I didn't know that there was all these other shows out there. So that was a really nice chance to meet other skaters and get info. And then I came back like, right, I've got the bug for it now, like made myself a new show reel, and then just really, really worked hard to try and get into some new shows.
Yeah, and that sounds fantastic. And I think you touched upon a lot of topics that, you know, most skaters are unaware of. And like when I was into shows as well, and I just did like 2 contracts probably, you know, I also knew about Disney on Ice and knew Holiday on Ice. And I was unaware of everything else that went on, you know, behind these big giants.
Yeah, there's so many small shows around, like that I know. I would say probably 15, and I've worked for like 7 different companies now. Like there is a lot out there, and especially around the world. So it's nice to know that there's not just these 2 big shows that you have to get into.
Yeah, and that's actually very brave of you, like to have left when you were 20, because there was another skater that I know of. She was in Disney for a while, and she's a fantastic skater. Like she's got like all these amazing spread eagles and like presence on ice,
Wow.
everything that you can dream of. But she was
Yeah.
getting really anxious about being away from home. She was like, "Yeah, I don't really like life on the road," and you don't really know it until you're on the road. So it can be a really
Yeah.
daunting experience, but it seems like you're actually, you know, enjoying it. You have enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
it was one of the bigger challenges to get over at first. Like I remember just going to the other side of the world, and the man who picked me up from the airport didn't speak any English, and I just literally had these visions in my head like, oh my God, what have you done? You're so far away from home. But then as soon as I got there and I met the other skaters, there was 2 other English girls, and there was a lot of Russian skaters who didn't speak any English. A mixture really, but they were so welcoming, and then you've all got the same thing in common. You all love to skate. And then once you start doing the rehearsals and things, it does really take your mind off of it, and you become really close. Like they become your family as you're away from home. Like I've not had a Christmas until now with, actually no, I wasn't even home now for Christmas. I haven't had a Christmas at home for like 5 or 6 years, but you make them your family. So when you're away, you do things like, we always do like a secret Santa, we always do birthdays, because it's like special when you're away from home. You need those kind of things.
Yeah, absolutely. So I had a question coming from Instagram from a skater, Francesca, and she's asked me, well, she's asked you really, what do you think is the most important skill to have to get into show skating?
So I've done several auditions, and especially what they're looking for is not the jumps, not the spins. They're looking for how you look and your presence on the ice. Like, can you give personality? Like, if you're looking for hot ice, they want you to be confident, smiley, that showgirl look. If you want to do Disney, they want you to have character. Like, I've done an audition for Disney before, and they told me to go and be a turtle. So if you haven't got that kind of ability in you to just not care what people think, and you're quite shy, then it's like shows probably isn't for you, because you have to really look stupid a lot of the time. Like I've been a snowman, like crazy characters I've had to be. I've been the back end of a horse once as well. So if you like, you just have to think like you don't care what you look like, and just give it your all, because I always thought it was about the jumps and the spins, and I used to go with this serious face just to concentrate on the skills that I thought they needed. And it's not actually about that at all. Since when I was a single skater, I think I only had to do a couple of spins, like a layback and an axel, and that was it. It was mainly about spirals, like flexibility, and how you looked. Have you got a nice smile? Can you present yourself well? So that's like what I would say to focus on if you're making a video to send in for shows, because they have all these Russian girls who can jump triples. They're going to use them. They don't need our doubles, you know, which most of us can do. So as long as you can show that you've got something else to bring, then they're not going to care, because you get ice dancers as well who can't jump. It's all about how you look and your presence on the ice, I would say. So that's the most thing I would focus on.
Yeah. Did you take any extra classes to develop that kind of, performance skills?
No, I just was watching a lot of videos, and when I was like started doing shows, I saw the other skaters and how they would just get on and warm up, and the way they warmed up was like they was in a show. Like they
Mm.
just gave so much on the warm up even, but that's just they skate with so much passion. So I thought like, right, don't think about is this jump clean? Is this spin the perfect position? Like just skate like from the heart, so you give more passion. I never took any classes. I started well, my first show, I saw a lot of the skaters was doing yoga and Pilates. So I sort of was watching, tagging along when they did their warm ups and got some exercises, some ideas. So when I came home from contracts and I had that time, I could really work hard. And that's how this whole journey started of getting right into my flexibility, working on my core strength. Just a mixture of things really, but that all came from the other skaters doing that. So I said like to myself, I want to look like them. So what are they doing? And then it just kind of went from there.
Yeah. And how did the adagio pairing start? I don't even know like how those things are because
Yeah.
did you start during a contract or did you practice at home first?
Well, I went to Mexico. That was like my fourth contract. And I actually met who is now my fiance there.
Oh,
He's a skater from Russia. So he's been a pair skater since he was a single skater for like 7 years, and then he started pair skating when he was 13. And he did really well with it. Went to like junior worlds for Russia. He's an amazing skater. So he had his own partner. I was there as a single skater, as a chorus girl. And I used to, as a chorus, obviously you're more at the back doing the pretty stuff at the back while the guys do all the amazing elements. And I
yeah.
used to watch and be like, wow, I'd love to be like her. Like just watching like, wow, she looks so amazing. And then obviously we started dating. And then when the contract came to an end, it was like, right, I like, how are we going to stay together? Because the contract, we had done a full year of traveling Mexico, and I was kind of ready to move on and try something different because the tour just repeats after a year. So he was basically, he didn't really want to, but it kind of had to happen that he was like, well, I guess I'm going to have to teach you how to do pairs then, aren't I, if we want to stay together. So we got a contract in Barcelona,
Mhm.
Ventura, and you get a lot of ice time there. Like there's like at the beginning you only do I think it's 6 shows a week, and they're over 2 days. So Monday to Friday you have off. So that was the perfect time for us to for him to teach me pairs. He was again skating with a different partner, but in that spare time he was really teaching me. Like it was really full on actually, because we was like, right, we've got a month to get everything filmed so we can try and audition for other shows. So we were working like really hard. My body was covered in bruises because it's completely different having somebody lift you. My body just was not used to it, like at
Yeah.
all. I was in so much aching pain, and I just thought, Jesus, I'm never going to be able to do this. But then it just came together. Like his Russian teaching obviously worked. And then after a month, we sent off some videos. We started to get shows together as a pair team, and then for the last how long is it now? 3 years. I've been skating with him on and off between contracts. Yeah, so that's how that all started.
That's great. And having pair skills actually enhances your chances to be contracted, right?
Yeah, so well, I don't know, it's about the same really, but it depends what show you want to go into. So a lot of shows, like I just finished working for Royal Caribbean, like to skate there as a single girl, you have to have minimum double axel, which I never got up to as a single skater.
Mhm.
So to have it as like if I was a single skater, I wouldn't be able to skate there, but because I can do pairs, it's another way of getting onto the ships, which is what I've been doing. And then a lot of shows also struggle to get pair teams. So yeah, I guess it is an advantage for sure, doing pairs, and obviously it pays better than being a chorus as well. And
Yeah.
I just really, really enjoyed it. But I had to take on a whole new different, that's where my Pilates really came in, because you have to hold your own weights, like
Yeah.
in every lift. Like I'm not the smallest girl either. I'm 5'4", which for a pair girl is big. And I'm not these tiny little toys that the other people throw around. So I had to really get strong in myself, like to be able to hold myself in these lifts, because once you're up, you can't be wobbling on one hand. So that's where the Pilates really, really helped me to be aware of my body, because sometimes he would say, my partner, like, right, lift your left leg up, and it would be dropping to the side, yet I thought it was up. So having massive body awareness also came from that, which has really, really helped me.
Yeah, I tried that as well. Like I had a brief introduction to pair skating last summer.
Oh,
Yeah, and I'm not small, as in like I'm five. Is it like 163 centimeters? So yeah, I'm not small anyway. But
yeah, just a bit.
it's not even about the size, the weight, or anything. It's literally about the strength that you have in your core. And I remember that the guy was like, "Yeah, you're just like a sack of potatoes," and I'm like, okay, I might have to work on that. So yeah.
Well, if you went back now, hopefully he would notice the difference after all these
Exactly.
classes.
Yeah. Now, definitely, I developed some core thanks to your classes. So moving on to the classes, actually, can you tell us how that started? Like, obviously, you had an interest in yoga and Pilates before because you saw that in your colleagues, like you saw your colleagues practicing. But how did that all come together to Life with AMS?
So I was recently working on Royal Caribbean when the pandemic started, and we was all at sea then, and it was all up in the air, like what was happening, whether the contract would continue, whether it wouldn't, because I still had like 6 months left of the contract. So they had no guests on board at this time. It was all being sorted out, and then one day they announced that, right, as of tonight, you all have to be quarantined to your cabin for 3 days. So it was quite stressful, actually. Like, I'm a person who likes to have control, and this was a big test to just be sat there basically and really have to like have patience in a situation. And everything was so unknown at that time. This is going back to the beginning of March last year. So I was like, right, what can I do to keep me in a routine? Because the first day I was like lying in bed all day. Second day I was like lying in bed for half the day. So I was like, right, let's get on with my yoga. So since that day, I made like, right, every day you're going to get up and you're going to do a yoga class at this time. So I used to do my own sort of exercises, watch some videos online. And then they announced after the 3 days that it has been extended to 5 days. So I was like, right, okay, let's keep going. And then eventually they kept extending it until it got to 2 weeks. 2 weeks of being locked in this tiny cabin. Thank God, because me and my fiance are a registered couple, we could share together, which made it a little bit easier, of course. But just the not being able to get outside, it made you go quite crazy. You could just see the sea. You was floating out at sea. You only got signal when the boat rotated a certain way, because then you'd be close enough to get signal from the land, because we were just floating at sea. So it was really, really hard time. I was getting like really anxious, being stuck in this room, running out of water. So that's where I really, really found yoga helpful, like something I could put my mind to every day, have a routine. And then I also used to do a Pilates in the evening to get like, because he wasn't walking anywhere, he was just sitting around just to get my heart rate up and to keep burning calories. But I would say the yoga was 30 minutes. I could really just turn off from the world, turn off from the unknown of the situations, and just really focus on me. And I felt so relaxed after, like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. So that's how I really got into yoga. And then eventually we got to get home off the ship. So that was after a month, I think I was stuck on there. And then when I came home, again, I was just in a routine of loving getting up, doing a yoga class or a yoga session, then all day chilling, doing something different, going for a walk, and then in the evening, a Pilates as well. So I got in a routine of doing it. And then I started to get bored of just having the same routine. So I thought, right, I love yoga, I love Pilates, I know quite a lot about it. Like, why not let's do a course for when I finish skating in the shows? That's something I could do when I'm ready to retire, teach yoga or teach Pilates. So I took a yoga diploma course online in the first lockdown, and then I qualified for that towards the start of the second lockdown. And then I started doing some free classes at the beginning of the second lockdown, just to offer, like, for me to get experience and just to see if people would be interested really in joining them. And it started to pick up a lot. And then I thought, right, you've qualified in yoga now, why not take a Pilates course? So I then did a Pilates course, and then I qualified for that. I tried to do it quite quickly because I wanted to offer a mixture of Pilates and yoga. And then once I qualified for that, I had done a month of free classes. And then I offered people, like, I started doing a monthly offer of £30 for 16 classes or £5 a class. And then it's just really, really like taken off from there. Like I get up to 40, 50 people a class now. A lot of people like that they can do the recording in their own time, and because they're from different parts of the world. Like I have people from Ecuador, I know you was in Switzerland, all different areas of the world, America, Canada, where the time is different. So it's nice that if people can't do the live, because in Canada sometimes it's 4 o'clock in the morning when it's my Pilates class, so they can get the recording, do it in their own time. And yeah, it's just every week it seems to be growing bigger, and I'm loving teaching it. It's given me such a focus in the lockdown. I found it so helpful for me mentally, and also for other people to have this set routine to improve themselves, because not having the gyms and the ice open is really hard on your mental effects, I think, because it's something that we're used to being in a routine. We're used to always having a purpose. So I think it really helps people to have a routine and something new to work on.
Yeah, definitely. I saw improvement in my mindset as well since I started taking the classes. And I think it does come with a routine because, you know, you were used to a commute, to going to the office or like whatever. And now you're just, you know, even if I'm working from home, for example, like my commute is from the bedroom to the kitchen and that's it. And I need that kind of, yeah, and I need that kind of space to, you know, connect with myself before I start working. So I started taking those before, like when I have the recordings, I started taking those before I start working. And I think the recording are a great option to have because sometimes with, you know, hectic lives and meetings coming all the way, all day, you know, you can always catch up and not lose on the offer. So yeah, I think you provided great value, and I had my boyfriend try that. I had my father-in-law try that. So everyone's been trying your classes.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people tag me. Like I have a mum, dad, and daughter, which they do my beginner yoga every Monday, and they love that it's a chance for the three of them to get together and do something that they can all do together. I have mums and daughters who do my Pilates. Like it's really nice that people can get together, and I only charge per household. So I even have a mum and daughter who do it, but they do it on different devices because they like their own space. Like one goes upstairs, one goes downstairs, but I only charge for the one household, so you're only paying that one price. But it's really nice that you can all get together to do the classes, and then obviously hopefully people are starting to notice a difference as well.
Yeah. What would it be the dream goal or like the end goal of Life with Arms? Now it's clearly picking up and you've gathered a lot of people already in the first few months. So would you like, I don't know, to open a studio when the time comes, or I don't know, continue with the online classes?
Well, I'm hoping to continue with the online classes up until the goal originally was I will get people through the pandemic, but now it's picked up so much and we've had kind of word that things are going to start opening from mid-April. I'm going to obviously continue up till then, but then I've actually signed to go to hot ice again this summer, and the rehearsals are really, really full on in June. So I will continue the classes up until June, take 3 weeks off for the rehearsals, and then I would like to continue fitting in the classes around the schedule. And then when I get back onto the Royal Caribbean, because I'm still not ready to give up my show career at all yet, I want to try and take this with me. But obviously it's difficult being out at sea with the not having the Wi-Fi, things like that. So I would like to make my own videos to post on YouTube, to send to people, like on different islands, because when I was in the Caribbean, we did different islands every day. I was doing like 30 different islands in the 4 months that I was there. So it would be really nice to kind of be like, right, I'm in St. Thomas today, guys, and then film myself doing a yoga workout to send to people with that beautiful sea behind us, and just make it more of like a travel yoga fitness page and Pilates rather than just Zoom online classes. And then between contracts, when I'm home, can start up some online classes if people are interested to do the classes live, maybe host some master classes. Like I've started hosting got the first one this Sunday actually, which is a splits masterclass. Maybe host them kind of things that people want to work on, something like that. I haven't really thought in depth with it because, you know, current situations, it's really hard to plan anything for the future as everything keeps changing. So kind of just going with it and see what happens in the summer. But I would definitely want to keep up the like some sort of classes on demand rather than live.
Yeah. Well, I'll be there anyway, whatever you decide to do. And I'm
Coming around
sure.
the world with me.
Yeah. Um, So before I go back to skating, would you like to remind our listeners and our readers the class schedule so that if anybody new wants to join, they know when you're teaching?
Yeah, sure. So I have Monday is my slow-paced beginners class. So 7 p.m. every Monday. All the classes are 30 minutes. Monday's class is a slow-paced, gentle stretch and stress release class. So it's a really good introduction to yoga if you're somebody who's a complete beginner or never tried. And then also just to work on your core strength there as well and understand the different positions and like how to flow between each movement. Then Wednesday I'd say it's the next step up from the beginner's class. I call it the midday, midweek power yoga. So 12 o'clock on a Wednesday. And it's more of an upbeat, like low impact workout, but with active rest stretches as well. So you get a nice stretch there, but you're also toning and strengthening the muscles. So again, I make that suitable for all levels. I always offer different options of how to make it easier, how to level up. And then Thursday has been a really popular one, especially for the skaters. I try to make that more on balancing postures, deep stretches, and cover things that we also do on the ice, such as spirals, Y stands, how to stretch before the Y stand, Billman stretches, things like that. So that's 7 p.m. on Thursdays. And then Saturday is my 11 a.m. Pilates class. So that's a full body, low impact workout, which is all toning and strengthening exercises, really sculpting the muscles and really making you aware of your body. So you're only moving a certain part of your body at one time. So that's more of, again, an upbeat workout where I'm always finish the class sweating, burning up to about 250 calories, but it's a really fun one. I really enjoy teaching that.
Yeah. And I really enjoy following the classes. So anyone who wants to join, please do check Life with Ams on Instagram. And do you have a website as well?
Yeah, it's actually linked onto my Life with Ams page. If you go onto my Instagram, you'll see the website link in there as well. And it basically just gives more information about each class, a bit more information about me, and you can send me some messages if you do want to join.
Perfect. So going back to skating, I have a couple more questions. So what do you think is your best memory from skating? Because you got quite a long career now. So
yeah. So I was actually thinking about this earlier, and I would say it has to be when I did Hot Ice 2 years ago, because it was my first show that I did in England. And all of my family got to come up. I have a really big family. So it was so nice, like my aunties, cousins, even my brothers, they hadn't seen me skate since I was small because they had no interest when I couldn't do all these cool things. So they all came up to Blackpool, and I say over the 3 months I was there, my family filled the audience. So it was so nice that they got to see me. I got to go out and get pictures with them in costume. Like my nan, especially, like she's quite old. I think that would be like one of the last times she gets to see me in a show. So that's really special memories for me that all the family got to see me there.
Yeah, that sounds great. And what do you think is something that you've learned from skating, something that you wouldn't have learned otherwise?
So I think definitely you have to have a lot of self-discipline with skating. Like, this is what's really frustrating me at the moment with the government saying that it's leisure and not sport.
Yeah.
Like, as us skaters, you have to put a lot of commitment and a lot of self-discipline into these things. And especially with pair skating, it's taught me that you really have to commit to what you're doing. So you can't be a person who ums and ahs about something. You have to go with it and commit to it. So like the first time I went to do a backflip on the ice, and my partner said, if you don't commit to it, you're going to land on your head and break your neck. And I'm like, right, so I better get my legs over and I better land it then. So things like that, where it just makes you feel like you can't pull out, you have to commit to it. You have to be open to learning new things. You have to be open to meeting new people, and also be able to live with people like from all different nationalities, all different cultures. So I don't know, it's taught me so many different things. I couldn't even imagine where I'd be right now in my life if I didn't have skating. All of my friends are around the world. I'd say my closest friend is from Canada, who I speak to every day via FaceTime. At home, I don't really have so many friends here now, a few from school, but I rarely speak to them because I'm always away. Like in a year, I'm often home just 2 weeks out of the year. So it's quite hard to keep a home life which is kind of another thing I struggled with coming home. I was so used to living out of a suitcase for the last 5 to 6 years by myself, and then coming home, living again with my family. I found that quite hard to adjust to. So you definitely get independent, I'd say.
Yeah, but if you weren't a skater, I think you partially replied to me already on that. But if you weren't a skater, what would you be?
Gosh, I have no idea. Probably go into yoga and Pilates, but I don't even think I would have picked that up if it wasn't for the skating. Like, I've had so many jobs when I was training to fund my skating. When I was trying to get into shows, I've worked in a doctor's surgery on reception. I've worked at a gym on reception, the ice rink on reception, nannying, cleaning jobs. Like, I've done it all, but there's nothing that I actually enjoyed. Like, now, even though I have this yoga and Pilates business, which I absolutely love, I've met so many amazing people, and every class I do, I thoroughly enjoy. My heart is still not ready to give up the skating yet, because that's where I feel like I'm most enjoy when I'm performing in front of those audiences. So I know that's a really rubbish answer, but I actually don't know what else I would be doing.
Yeah, it becomes such an integral part of yourself when you've been skating for so long. And not even like if you've been skating that long, obviously, but there's beginners.
It's such a time-consuming sport. So even the beginners, I see a lot of beginners putting so much time off the ice, on the ice, and it becomes like you live, sleep, and just like repeat everything about skating.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think you inspired a lot of us to, well, maybe try for shows. I've been stalling for years now, trying to get back and always being like, yeah, maybe next year. But you definitely made me want to try again. And
you don't have to think about an age either. I just did Russian Ice Stars in Dubai, and some of the cast there was a flying act who skate, and they're amazing. One of them's 58 and his wife is 52. So that's like when people say, oh, I'm too young, too old to go into shows. I'm like, trust me, you have a whole future ahead of you. Like, don't say their age is nothing. It's all about what you can do and what you give on the ice. So there's a mixture of ages.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. That's what I needed to hear. So like tomorrow I'm gonna put on my show reel and like try to get in. Thank you so much. I loved having you here as my first guest. I feel like I was very lucky. And is there anything else you want to say to our listeners before we leave?
So I just wanted to quickly touch on, a lot of people ask me about shows. How did I get into shows? And we've touched on that today. And then they ask me if they want to get into shows, what do they need to do? So I would say, once you've got all this time now, put together a show reel, a video. My best tip would be, don't make it longer than a song, because the producers don't watch that much. They have thousands of applications. They would skim through a few things. So try to keep it the length of a song. Put your most things that you're confident with first, and don't repeat things. Like, if you can do a double loop with your arms over your head, just put the one. They don't need to see it without the arms over the head. All your best spins, but don't repeat them, if that makes sense. So just try to make all your best points show across. Give personality on the show reel. Try to give a little talk at the beginning, introducing yourself. Be smiley, be showy in the video. Showcase any split jumps, any flexibility that you have there, anything that like is unusual that you think that they haven't seen before, and also put together a resume, just like a page long, of your details, your like name, date of birth, address, your height, your weight, hair color, eye color, your like the reason why you want to do shows, a bit about your experience, like your level you competed at, or if you've done other shows, any experience at all that you've had. And then obviously why you want to go into shows as well. So that's something that people could work on whilst we're in the lockdown, to be typing that up, because the producers will always say, can you send me your show, or can you send me your resume? And they will also ask for headshots and a full body shot. But obviously I know there's like a lot of people can't get them done now, but my first headshot was one that I took myself against the white background, red lipstick, show makeup on. And then the full body shot, I got my coach to take it on the ice in skates. Show off your body. They want to see what you look like, so wear like some nice tight leggings and a crop top, or some shorts, something that they can see your body, because in shows you have to be willing to wear the tiny outfits. I don't know if you've seen Hot Ice, but a lot of the outfits are stunning, but they're very revealing, if you'd like to say. So you have to be ready. It depends what kind of show you want to go to. Obviously, Disney would not be like that at all. So just bear in mind, like, which show you want to go into as to what you put on your video, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's great advice. And I think a lot of people will take you up on that. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's been so nice. I feel like I've just talked about myself the whole time, but
and that's great.
Some information.
Honestly, that's all I wanted to know. And probably I will have like a lot more questions, but we can always catch up on Instagram.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, anytime. Just drop me a message.
Yeah.
And if the listeners have any questions, feel free. Like a lot of people do my classes, and then afterwards I get some messages like, could you go over this with me? Or how did you get your leg up there? Like, can you explain it again? And like, I'm here to help you guys. I want you guys to get better. So if you have any questions, send them my way. If you don't understand something, if you want some tips on something, feel free. I get videos, pictures coming in all the time. Can you help me with this? Can you help me with this? And I'm more than happy to give all the information that I know to help you guys.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Amber, on behalf of myself and all of our listeners. So if you want to get in touch with Amber, you can find her on Instagram at LifeWithAms. And if you like this episode, please subscribe and share. You will also find the recording on YouTube on the channel Waltz To Lutz. And if you want more information about the podcast or anything about skating, please visit waltztolutz.com. Thank you for listening, and I'll speak to you soon.